Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good morning. Today, we will present our mini project for safety for construction industry. Firstly, I would like to introduce my group member. There are 5 members in our group. The first one is Muhammad RIDHUAN bin RASHDAN. The second one is Muhammad ALIF HARITH bin ROSHAIZAD. The third one is Muhammad HAFIZUDDIN HAZIQ bin ROZEY. The fourth one is Nurul AQILAH binti Abu Talib. And the last one is Nurul Qistina binti AHMAD MAHARAN. Next, there are 5 objectives of this report. The first one is to recognize that mishap are major matters. The second one is to understand how to avoid workplace accident. The third one is to fill out an accident report. The fourth one, to do the proper thing when it comes to reporting injuries, infection, and potentially harmful situation. The last one is employee, subcontractor, client, and engineer need to be more aware of safety and health risks. In this presentation, there are 4 types of content that we will present. The first one is introduction. The second one is hazard identification. The third one is HARITH and GSA report. And lastly is safety report. So, the first one, we will go to introduction. Firstly, Malaysia's construction industry is a key sector that requires a large rapid response from site safety practices. The second one, accidents are usually the consequence of a mixed contributing factor as well as one or more risky activity or conditions. The third one, larger construction projects in Malaysia have been subjected to dangerous situations that might lead to accident, compromising their safety performance. And the last one is, the goal of this study is to look at the cause of accidents and suggest ways to reduce high accident rates on construction site. Did you know that the construction of high-risk building had the highest number of occupational injuries per sector in 2017 with 15 deaths out of 70 as in May 2017. This statement is according from the Department of Workplace Safety and Health in Malaysia, Dodge 2017. Next, the second one, I would like to share about the hazard identification. So, what is hazard identification? Hazard identification is a step in the process of determining whether circumstance, material, or thing has the potential to cause harm. Risk assessment is a term that is frequently used to describe the entire process. First, determine which danger and risk factor are likely to cause harm, or it is called hazard identification. Second, analyze and assess the risk posed by that hazard, or we call it as a risk analysis and risk evaluation. Third, risk control, which is determine the best solution to eliminate the hazard or manage the risk if it can be avoided. Last one, the overall of purpose hazard identification is to locate and document any potential hazard in our workplace.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Qistina binti MAHARAN. So I would like to continue with HARITH form, whereas we were given these situations in the questions. So we have to do the HARITH form based on this picture. So let's see the HARITH form. So this is our HARITH form. So in HARITH form, we have a 3 biggest base, whereas we have a hazard identification, risk assessment, and also a risk control. So for the first one is work activity, is a falling from a ladder. Hazard, we could find a safety hazard, and also the risk cause injury or damage to a property. For the risk assessment for this work activity is directive. For the severity, we take moderate. For the likelihood is almost certain. And a risk rating is a risk acceptance, and for the risk control is isolations. So for the second work activity is a slipper away from snow in high conditions. For the hazard is a safety hazard. For the risk is cause injury or damage to a property, and a current risk is directive. For severity is moderate. For the likelihood is a frequent. Risk rating is risk acceptance, and for the risk control is isolation, because these work activities is like the same with first work activities, but not too same, because not all the state have a snow. So so we can took the likelihood as a frequency, because not all the state is not all state have a snow. So for the third word activity is a contact with a moving machinery. So for the hazard is environmental hazard, and for the risk is cause harm or deleterious effect. For the current risk control is corrective. For the severities is catastrophic, and likelihood is a remote. Risk rating is inherent risk, and for the risk control is eliminations. So for the fourth activity is a stop between object, and for the hazard, we could identify as a safety hazard, and for the risk, we could identify as a cause injury or a damage to property, and a current risk control is directive also, and for the severity is minor, and likelihood is almost certain, and the risk rating is a risk acceptance, and for the risk control is substitutions, and for the risk rating is risk acceptance, and for the severities is minor, because usually a person employees in the site usually have these incidents, or can be accident also, like that. So for the last our activities is burning at a diesel. For the hazard, we could identify as a hazard, also a safety hazard, because we just like we can we can breathe properly, because burning at diesel is very very rare and very very jarang lah orang bakar dekat dengan minyak macam tu. So for the risk is a cause illness, acute or chronic, and also for the current risk control is preventive of the source of the hazard, and for the severities is catastrophic, and likelihood, as I said, is rare, and for the risk rating is a residual risk, and risk control is eliminations, because burning at diesel ni all people know about the full about the diesel. Can diesel with a fire cannot be together, macam tu. When we are together, then dia akan meletup, like that. So yeah, so that's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will continue with Job Safety Analysis Report or JSA. Number 1, we can do a daily inspection. This is because by not doing this, equipment multifunction damage to equipment fluid leak or faulty control. So the recommended control for this job step is inspect the area, move material that may cause straight period to performing the work. Number 2, we can do a monthly investigation. This is because by not doing this, more injuries and illness to get, and the owner have many time to get the accident. So the suggested recommended is the person must do at least 1 time per week to make sure all the thing in the site is in a good condition. Number 3, we can put the sign awareness at the some space that have potential to get incident or accident. This is because by not doing this, it can convenience to get the injuries and secure to death, and risk to owner to have an accident. This is because by putting the sign awareness, it can help anyone who see the sign. Number 4, we can do a check-up car before drive. This is because by not doing this, we can get accident and easily to have a small injuries. So every time before drive, we must do the checkup from engine to tire. Number 5, we must have a listen. This is because if we not have a listen, we can get accident and damage to a property. And way to prevent this thing from happen, we can take the listen before drive to everywhere to make sure all hazard that we know. For the number 6, we must use the machinery. This is because if we not use the machinery, we can easily get stripped and struck by the object and easily to have the incident. So to avoid this thing from happen, we can teach the employees about using the machinery. Number 7, we must seal the object properly. This is because if we not seal the object properly, the stuff inside the box will get damaged and many costs will be charged. So to avoid this thing, we can use the tape of fragile for each box and the person to alert with the stuff inside the box. Number 8, we must use the right equipment. This is because it can cause incident, heavy injuries, and easily to have injured. So we can ask a PIC about handling the heavy object with the right equipment if doesn't want to use the machinery. Number 9, lift up the box with the member. This is because it can cause a minor injuries and mess up with the people around. So to avoid this thing, let's talk and avoid to have a chit chat. Lastly, being crushed with the box fall off accidentally. So this thing can cause a major injuries and can lift up the heavy box again. So the recommended control for this job step is lift up the object one by one.
Thank you to the presenter. My name is Nurul. I would like to talk about safety report.
Our main accident is about 2 workers crashed to death in KL construction site accident. Part 1. Particular. 1 man died on the spot while the others was pronounced dead at a hospital in Kuala Lumpur. On Thursday, 2 construction workers were killed when concrete slab on the 15th story of a building they were working on collapsed in Jalan Dewan Sultan Sulaiman. Part 2. Description of the incident. Kuala Lumpur. 2 construction workers were crushed to death when concrete slab on the 15th floor of a building they were working on at Jalan Dewan Sultan Sulaiman here collapsed on Thursday. The accident occurred at 2 a.m. while 6 employees were working on the formwork structure of the building's 15th floor. 1 man died on the spot while the other was confirmed dead at the Kuala Lumpur hospital. An immediate stop work notice was issued after a team of officials from the Department of Occupational Safety and Health conducted an investigation at the accident site on Thursday. It is understood that illegal action will be taken if any violation of the Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994 and Factories and Machinery Act 1976 occur. It is the responsibility of employers and workers to ensure safety and health at the workplace, the Human Resources Ministry said in a statement last night at Bernama.
Okay, now I will continue from AQILAH's part. Okay, part 3, evidence. So what is evidence? Evidence is the proof regarding to belief or proposition that is true or not, and whether it is valid or invalid. So why this evidence must put in the safety report? This because it is the important element that is needed to review for any change or problem that is occurring after or during the progress of project. This is the main thing that will be reviewed and look back when something is not good condition or not following the specific terms of progress, where in the evidence got every small details that are done during the progress. This evidence will help in order to fix or to evaluate something that are not accomplished accordingly towards the project development. Okay, as you can see, this the evidence that we do in our case study. 2 construction workers were killed when concrete slab collapsed on them in the incident on Jalan Dewan Sultan Sulaiman. Okay, now this evidence of proof that workers from height that working on slab before they kill. Okay, let's see the part 4 incident caution. The first one is false. Okay, let's see the first point. Many firms and workplaces have suffered fall at high injuries as a result of slip and fall in the workplace. Okay, the second point, a personal fall hazard is current circumstance on the job site that could cause a site worker or office employee to lose their balance or bodily support and fall from height, posing a major harm risk. Okay, the third point, this includes any condition that could cause someone to trip, slip, or slide, resulting in loss of balance and harm in non-construction setting. Okay, the fourth point, an assessment of the danger of things falling from height should be included in a comprehensive evaluation of fall from height hazards. Okay, the last point from false, building supplies as well as tools, nails, bolts, and other construction items could fall from a great height, posing a fall hazard. Okay, the second incident causation struck by object. Okay, the first point, falling, rolling, flying, sliding, sleeping, and swimming objects can cause catastrophic injury to person. Okay, the second point, construction workers injured by falling building materials, trucks, sleeping objects, and longer trucks by falling trees all have a highly fatality rate, but they are all preventable. The last point for struck by object, according to OSHA, have heavy equipment such as trucks or cranes are involved in around 75% of strikes by fatalities. Oh my god. Okay, now let's see factors of analysis from false side first, and we continue back to struck by object. Okay, first point for false, work above the ground floor. The second point, could fall from a height via a crack or into a delicate surface. The last point, could fall from a ground level into a hole in the ground or a gap in the floor. Okay, now let's continue to struck by object. The first point, accidents occur for a variety of reasons, some of which can be avoided. Okay, the second point, a worker may make a simple error as a result of a casual error or a lack sufficient training. The last point for structure by object, being struck by an object can cause concussion, brain injuries, neck and back problems, and even paralysis. Okay, this part I will give to RIDHUAN. Thank you.
So next is part 5, corrective action. So firstly is employees should be protected from further incident. Second is boost your output. Third is for working at height, find the employees that have a skill for avoid this incident happens again. So next is make a backup plan if any accident or incident happen in the site. Next is plan for a good distribution of labor on the job site, categorizing it as skilled, unskilled, and semi-skilled labor. So next is employees must receive proper training and have a sample of their work monitor throughout the next few months. So next is having a toolbox to employees every morning before they start their work. Next is give a talks about how important wearing PPE while they are working at morning. Okay. Next is S for SHO must be alert and prepare all the time about the incident or accident that can happen anytime. So next is the sign of awareness in construction site must be alert for all employees and staff in the site. The employees have been training first before start their work. So for all we know, this corrective action was taken on the same day, which is 1st May 2022 with very skilled employees. So next is report review. So this report prepared by me, Muhammad RIDHUAN bin RASHDAN, and report distribution list is Department of Occupational Safety and Health, DOSH, and second is Bomber, third is Police, and the last one is Construction Industry Development Board. So next is signature of the Safety and Health Committee CO Chair. This is Yusairi bin Ahmad. So next is discussion and conclusion. Construction is one of the most dangerous industry in the world. It is self-evident that construction faults have hard finances and humanitarian ramifications for the building sector. The most well-known type of construction accident are those caused by false accident. Malaysia is one of the countries affected by this issue. It was also stated that one of the most serious issue contributing to the increased number of the death was construction fault accident. Next is hazard at building site that can cause fall should be detected through a comprehensive assessment and eliminated through effective preventive measure. The accumulation of data on previous injuries might reveal which dangers are known to be the most common on construction site. The accident may have been avoided if designer had a responsibility to create a building that is safe to maintain and refurbish, and for sustainable maintenance should be well planned before a building is built. Furthermore, the spectrum of fall prevention equipment required continues to expand, and upgrades to present equipment such as improved scaffolding guardrail can be accommodated in the prospective extension of guidelines on specific equipment selection difficulties. Employees who are concerned about their susceptibility to an ability to prevent falls while at work may support this. While it's impossible to know how many falls are caused by unsafe structure, better policies are set through specific design decision will reduce the number of falls. Hence, a company need a fall protection strategy and personal fall arrest system to make sure the employee will perform their task in a safe manner. And last one is injuries are the leading cause of construction mishap, according to the study. More research into such injuries and the strategy that may be used to prevent them can be done. Employers can always examine the law and create a customer health and safety plan for their workplace and employees. Employers can study the provision available in the regulation that might be implemented to ensure a safe building site environment. So, that's all from us. Thank you.